Abla, your lover. Today I'll be dropping something different, something new. Yes, we are all about children from single homes, and today I'll be talking about why it's important for a child who is from a single home to have that awareness, to have that knowledge of the fact that you may have some societal issues, some societal imbalances because you're being raised by a single parent. It's possible, it's not every parent, it's not every child being raised by a single parent who has an issue. Some might have severe issues, and others might have mild issues, but most often there's always an issue. So it's very important for you to be aware of the fact that you have an issue, then, or you could have an issue, and then find what possibly could be that issue. Once you've gotten to that point where you're able to know that, okay, I could have an issue, and then you cite out what the issue is, then you're able to solve the problem. It's not enough for you to be, okay, I have bitterness, I have problems, I am unhappy with the way I was being raised. Why wouldn't I have been raised by other people who have been raised by both parents in the home or over a roof? And they get to maybe exhibit certain attributes which you're unable to exhibit because maybe you were not taught that while being raised as a child. You were not educated about how to handle certain things. You can't understand why things are supposed to be done in a particular way when you go out in the society, unlike what you were being taught, most especially when you're raised by a single parent who doesn't really care or doesn't really put in enough effort in raising you properly. Because sometimes some single parents are aware that, okay, me raising you as a single parent is not enough. If we are both of us, or we are two, a male and a female, it's good that we both put our minds together with the various behavioral traits we have to impact knowledge and wisdom in a child or their child. Nowadays we have male and male getting married, female and female getting married. I can't go that far because I don't know how those things really work, but in the normal life from years past, it has been a male and a female. So based on the attributes that come with a male and female coming together to raise a child, I believe that there are certain things that a woman would impact in that child that a man can't impact. I believe that there are certain things that a man would impact in a child that a woman cannot do. So that is the reason why you need to be aware that being raised by a single parent, whether male or female or father or mother, there is something that is lacking, that maybe you will not be able to handle societal issues or interact in the society properly because you were not being raised by both parents. So it's just good for you to have that awareness. It's good for you to have that awareness that, okay, I might be having an issue, or I might be having an imbalance in my character, in the way I behave, in the way I associate, in the way I, go out there. There are certain things you could be hyper, you could be less. You should always moderate the way things are being done in your life or how you carry out yourself and, behave amongst people. But then when you have that knowledge, you acknowledge that, okay, it could be that I'm not enough, or there are places where I have to learn, or there are things I have to unlearn, and there are things I have to relearn. And when you get to that point where you have that in mind, like in my previous video I was talking about most women who grow up to say they don't need a man. Those are things that they have come to think of, or they are now thinking of it because of from the place of being raised by a single parent, or from some experiences in their relationships. All of that have a trickle-down effect on the ideologies and the mindsets we carry along in our day-to-day activities. So when you have that knowledge that being raised by a single parent is not enough, what do? You go out there, find out what you need to know. Find out what you can't blame anybody. You cannot blame anybody for the fact that you don't have enough, or you don't have what you ought to have had as a child being raised by in a good family, in a family where there is good union and all of that, things that come with the family, you can't blame anyone. And you can't blame anyone or you can't blame maybe the parent who raised you, whether it's a father or a mother, for not giving you everything. They can only give what they can or what they have. So as that child, you have some extra work to do, unlike other children. You just need to go out there, figure out how things are done, fish out. Maybe you can't really compose yourself out there in the presence of males, because maybe in your home was just you and maybe your mother, and maybe you didn't have any brothers, or it just depends. Maybe you don't see men as a need because you've not seen your mother experience that affection or love that comes from a man. You don't see it as a need. Or maybe as a boy, you don't know how to treat a lady because you've not seen a man treating your mother in a particular way. You don't know how to treat women. It's often said that most men raised by single parents, most especially by their moms, are not good husbands, don't tend to be good husbands and maybe good fathers in the society. Those are things that come as a result of the default or the lapses because of the fact that the both parents were not together, putting in the effort or doing the work together to bring you up as an adult, to become an adult, to become a full-grown man in the society. So when you have that knowledge, you can always deal with it. You can relearn, you can unlearn certain things that you already know. It's very important. First of all, this video is to bring out the reasons why. It's first of all for you to acknowledge that there is an issue. Find out what that issue is, and then go down to sorting out how to deal with that issue. You can't just say that, okay, yes, there is an issue, because most people get to the level where they know that, okay, there is an issue. They can't even figure out what the issue is. Sometimes they get to figure out what the issue is, but they can't deal with it. Then that issue tends to repeat itself over and over, because you don't know how to deal with another person, maybe another with a partner. If you say you don't need a man as a lady because you're raised by your mother, then you won't be able to deal with the man. Definitely, if you have children, you will raise them as single. You raise them as a single mother, and definitely those issues you had as a woman would definitely go down to your kids. So it's good for you to break those things. Like you see some families, they have series of such certain things in their family, like being raised by single parents. You see the fifth generation, fourth, third, and you see it going up like that, just because they just can't cite out what the problem is. If you cite out what the problem is, or they acknowledge that there is a problem, citing it out, they can't deal with it. It's good to deal with it. You can seek maybe counseling. You can seek. There are certain things that we just don't need to neglect, and if we do, we would just, I don't know, we won't be able to fix it, because it would take maybe generations to come. It may affect generations to come. So it's very important to know that, bring it to the knowledge to the people, because most people don't get to see this aspect of mental health. Now we hear mental health everywhere. So people are sick in their brains. They have certain things that they have built in their brains, and it's controlling their line of action. And that's a mental problem. People don't get to understand that. And this area of being raised by single parents, there's a high rate of divorce, definitely, meaning that there is a high rate of children out there who have mental issues, who have things they are battling with in their lives, in the society, with their parents, with their friends, everywhere, even with themselves or within themselves. And it's good to know that, okay, this is what is going on. This is what I'm going through. This is the challenge I have. How do I deal with it to be better? And if you can deal with it, it's the best thing to do. And you cannot blame anybody. Honestly, you can't really blame anybody, because you can't blame maybe your parents. Who knows, if you were in their place or in their shoes, you might not have done anything better. But what you need to do is to know that, okay, I can do something that will change maybe how my own kids will be raised. Definitely, if you know that, okay, you don't know what the future holds. You don't know if you might also end up as a single parent tomorrow. You never know what the future holds. But you know that this thing that I didn't learn from my mother or from my father as a single parent to me, I should be able to teach it to my parent, to my children, if I am with a man or not, or if I am with a woman or not, because these are some of the things that make me incapacitated in the society. It's good for us to know these things, acknowledge it, and seek solution to it. So I just thought about that. A couple of videos I've posted on my channel which talks about children and the problems they have because they are being raised by single parents. But people are out there, they don't even know they have problems. They don't even know they have problems. Some people know they have problems, or they could possibly have problems. They don't know what the problem is. And others know what the problem is, but they can't solve the problem. And you see things keep repeating itself over and over. So it's really good to deal with it and not neglect it, because if we do, we'll have ourselves to blame. Thank you so much if you've been on my channel right to this point, listening to me, looking at this pretty face. Thank you so much for being here. If this is your first time, thank you so much for clicking, and please do not make it your last. If you've been here before, thank you so much for coming back again, and I definitely would want to see you in the next one. Thank you so much. Bye. Do not forget to subscribe, click the notification bell, and give this video a thumbs up. Anything you don't get, anything you want to contribute, please drop it in the comment section. Let's have a conversation. Thank you so much. Bye once more.